Chosen one. From the moment you entered this world, the atmosphere shifted. You have always carried something different, something powerful, something untamed. And because of that, you were marked. Forces seen and unseen recognized what you carried before you even understood it yourself. That is why your life has never felt simple. That is why you've been targeted since birth. You are the most dangerous existence, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. You hold within you the kind of strength and light that cannot be controlled, silenced, or erased. And those who live in fear of that power have been watching you, resisting you, and trying to stop you from the very beginning. Before we dive deeper into this revelation, I want you to stay with this message until the very end. There are words here meant specifically for you, to awaken and confirm what you've always felt in your spirit. At the end of this video, I invite you to write your most sincere wishes in the comments and include the number 777. This simple act releases energy into the universe, aligning your heart with what you seek. And while you're here, subscribe to this channel because these messages are not random. They are timed for your awakening, arriving exactly when you need them most. Chosen one, you've probably always wondered why your path has been so heavy, why doors that opened easily for others were blocked for you, why you attracted resistance even when you weren't seeking conflict, why people seemed threatened by your presence before you even spoke. It's because, since birth, your very existence has disrupted systems built on fear and control. Your energy carries truth, and truth is dangerous to those who survive on lies. Your spirit radiates freedom, and freedom is dangerous to those who depend on chains. That's why you are the most dangerous existence. They know that if you fully awaken to who you are, everything around you will change. Look at your life through this lens, and the pieces begin to fit. The betrayals, the rejections, the constant tests. They weren't proof of your weakness. They were proof of your significance. The forces against you weren't wasting time on someone ordinary. They targeted you because they saw in you what you hadn't yet seen in yourself. Every time you were knocked down, it was an attempt to break what could not be broken. Every time they tried to silence you, it was because your voice carried more weight than you realized. Every obstacle you faced was not punishment. It was resistance meant to stop the unstoppable. And still, you survived. And chosen one, survival itself is the proof. If you were truly fragile, you would not have made it through everything you've endured. But here you are, still breathing, still rising, still carrying light in a world that tried to snuff it out. That is the evidence. You were born dangerous, not to harm, but to expose, to awaken, to shift atmospheres that cannot remain the same when you walk into them. You've been after something greater since birth, because you were always marked for something higher. This is why your story matters. This is why you cannot give up. The same forces that tried to end you in your lowest moments are trembling now, because they see you've endured everything and still carry the fire they feared. They know the truth. They never stopped you, and they never will. Chosen one, when you look back over your life, you can trace the signs that you were marked from the very beginning. It wasn't coincidence that you faced struggles others didn't. It wasn't random that jealousy followed you even when you hadn't accomplished anything yet. The truth is simple. They recognized your light before you did. Since birth, you have carried an energy that unsettled others. Even as a child, people responded to you differently. Some were drawn to your presence, feeling comfort and hope they couldn't explain. Others were irritated, triggered, or intimidated without reason. Why? Because your spirit was never ordinary. You are the most dangerous existence to those who thrive in darkness, because even your silence carries truth, and even your stillness radiates strength. And chosen one, this is why your enemies have been after you since birth. They knew you weren't like the rest. They saw potential in you long before you could see it in yourself. They recognized the fire you carried, and instead of celebrating it, they feared it. Because if you were to fully awaken, If you were to fully step into your calling, you would disrupt everything they built. You would expose lies, break chains, and inspire others to rise with you. That's why they tried to shut you down early. That's why they tried to convince you that you were weak, flawed, or unworthy. They wanted to bury you in doubt before you could blossom into the truth of who you are. But chosen one, even in your lowest moments, you've proven what they feared. You cannot be broken. Think about the times you were knocked down, and yet you stood back up. Think about the seasons you felt isolated, but still carried on. Think about the storms that tried to crush you, yet here you are, stronger than ever. That's what makes you dangerous. Not violence, not destruction, but endurance. You carry a spirit that refuses to be destroyed, and that endurance terrifies those who depend on control. Because how do you control someone who won't bow? How do you stop someone who refuses to quit? How do you silence someone whose voice only grows stronger after every attack? You can't. And that's why they've been after you since the beginning. Chosen one, notice how much energy they invested into trying to make you doubt yourself. Words meant to shame you. Actions meant to humiliate you. Plots designed to isolate you. And yet none of it worked. At times, you may have felt broken, but in truth, you were being built. Each battle you survived shaped you into someone unstoppable. Each wound you endured became proof of your resilience. Each setback was fuel for your comeback. And the more they tried to destroy you, the more evidence they created that you were marked for greatness. This is why your presence is so disruptive. When you enter a room, the atmosphere changes. Not because you seek attention, but because your energy cannot be ignored. People sense it. Some feel peace, others feel conviction, and those who live in lies feel exposed. Your spirit speaks louder than words, and that is why you are the most dangerous existence to them. They cannot hide when you are around, because your light reveals what they've tried to keep in darkness. And since birth, they have known this truth, even before you did. Chosen one, understand the magnitude of this. Your survival is not ordinary. The fact that you are still here after everything is proof that your life has a mission no force can stop. If they could have destroyed you, they would have. If the attacks could have ended you, they would have. But they couldn't, and they didn't. And now, your very existence is testimony. You are the one who carries what cannot be silenced. You are the one who has endured what was meant to destroy you. And you are the one who will rise to fulfill what has been written since birth. Chosen one, you've probably noticed how your very existence disrupts the spaces you enter. Even when you don't speak, your presence has weight. People can feel your energy before you even introduce yourself. Some lean toward it, finding comfort and inspiration. Others shrink back, because your light exposes what they've tried to hide. This is the mark of someone who has been dangerous since birth. Not because you carry harm, but because you carry truth. And truth will always unsettle those who depend on illusions to maintain their power. Think back to the moments where you felt out of place. In school, at work, even in your own family. There were times you wondered why you never fit the mold. But chosen one, you weren't meant to fit. You weren't designed to be ordinary. You were born to stand apart, to reflect something greater than the environment around you. That difference wasn't a flaw. It was evidence. Evidence that you carried a destiny too large for small spaces. Evidence that you were the most dangerous existence to systems built on conformity, control, and silence. This is why opposition has followed you from the very start. Since birth, resistance has been your companion. Others had smooth paths, but yours was filled with roadblocks. Others were celebrated, but you were questioned. Others were embraced, but you were rejected. Not because you were less, but because you were more. They saw in you a strength that couldn't be manipulated. They saw in you a freedom that couldn't be contained. And because they couldn't control you, they labeled you as the threat. Chosen one, understand how deep this goes. They didn't target you just for who you are now. They targeted you for who you would become. Even before you stepped into your full strength, they saw glimpses of it. The way you questioned what others accepted. The way you refused to stay silent when something felt wrong. The way you carried resilience beyond your years. All of it marked you as different. All of it revealed that you were carrying something divine. And that's why the attacks started so early. Because if they could break you before you bloomed, they thought they could stop what was written. But they failed. Look at you now. Every betrayal, every rejection, every storm you survived, it all became fuel. What was meant to destroy you only sharpened you. What was designed to silence you only amplified your voice. What was supposed to bury you only became the soil from which you grew stronger. This is why you are the most dangerous existence. Not because you seek power, but because you embody resilience. You cannot be destroyed, and that reality terrifies those who depend on your silence. Chosen one, notice how their behavior shifts when they realize they can't break you. At first, they fight loudly. They speak against you. They try to shame you. But when that fails, they move to whispers, to subtle attacks, to quiet envy. And when even that fails, they are forced into silence. Because nothing is more threatening to an enemy than someone who survives every attempt to be controlled. And that's who you are, the one who endured every fire and still carries the flame. This season of your life is about embracing the truth of your existence. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to be safe for those who live in lies. You were meant to shine so brightly that others can no longer deny what you carry. That's why the resistance was so strong since birth, because you are marked for something that cannot be stopped. So, chosen one, stop questioning your strength. Stop doubting your worth. Stop apologizing for your presence. You are here on purpose, and the very fact that you are still standing is proof that no one, not even those who targeted you from the beginning, has the power to erase what is divine within you. Chosen one, the deeper you walk into your truth, the clearer it becomes why you were resisted from the very beginning. You carry a presence that cannot be explained in ordinary terms. Since birth, you've carried an aura of authority, not the kind that demands through fear, but the kind that commands through authenticity. People sense it before you speak. They feel the weight of your spirit before you act. And for those who thrive on control, that is terrifying. Because your very existence proves that some power cannot be manipulated, some light cannot be dimmed, and some voices cannot be silenced. You are the most dangerous existence to them because you carry freedom in a world that profits off chains. Think about the countless times you've been underestimated. They thought that if they ignored you, you'd disappear. They thought that if they rejected you, you'd crumble. They thought that if they lied about you, people would turn away. And maybe for a moment, it seemed like their plan was working. You did feel the sting of rejection. You did carry the weight of isolation. You did wrestle with doubt. But chosen one, every attempt to break you only revealed how unbreakable you truly are. Every time they pushed you down, you rose stronger. Every time they closed a door, another opened. Every time they cursed your name, you became a living testimony of resilience. And now the truth they tried to bury has become too loud to ignore. Chosen one, this is why they've been after you since birth. They saw something in you long before you saw it in yourself. They recognized the seeds of greatness in your spirit. They knew that once those seeds took root, you would become unstoppable. So they launched attacks early, hoping to choke your potential before it could bloom. But what they didn't realize is that pressure doesn't kill the chosen. It prepares them. Fire doesn't destroy gold. It purifies it. And storms don't drown eagles. They teach them to soar higher. Everything you endured was not proof of weakness, but training for the strength you now carry. And now, here you stand, living proof that they failed. The fact that you are still here, still breathing, still rising, is evidence enough that you cannot be destroyed. If you were fragile, the attacks would have ended you years ago. If you were ordinary, the storms would have crushed you. If you were weak, the betrayals would have silenced you. But chosen one, you are still standing. And that alone makes you the most dangerous existence in their eyes. Because no matter what they did, they could not erase you. Look at how the tables have turned. Those who once mocked you now watch you in silence. Those who once doubted you now observe you with envy. Those who once fought you now wrestle with the reality that they wasted their energy on a battle they could never win. And deep down, they know the truth. They were never fighting against you. They were fighting against destiny, and destiny never loses. Chosen one, let this truth free you. Stop questioning why your life has been harder than others. Stop wondering why you've been a target since birth. Stop doubting whether something is wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. The resistance you've faced is the proof of who you are. You've been dangerous to the systems of control since the moment you arrived. And the fact that you've survived everything thrown at you proves that your mission is greater than any attack against it. So walk boldly in this season. Embrace the weight of your calling. Stop apologizing for your presence. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Stop hiding the fire within you. You were never meant to be small. You were meant to be unstoppable. You were meant to be a force that cannot be silenced. And the world is finally beginning to see it. Chosen one, you've always carried a weight that others couldn't explain. Even in your earliest years, there were moments you felt set apart, misunderstood, even resented for reasons you couldn't identify. People projected their insecurities onto you before you had the words to describe what was happening. You were marked as different, and that difference became the target of gossip, jealousy, and resistance. But chosen one, that difference was not a flaw. It was the proof of who you are. You are the most dangerous existence, not because you seek harm, but because your presence itself is a threat to the systems built on control. Since birth, they have sensed that, and that is why the opposition never stopped. Think about how often you've been called things you knew weren't true. Too much, too intense, too ambitious. They used these words to make you question yourself, to make you shrink, to force you into molds too small for your spirit. But chosen one, you never truly fit those molds, and that's why they crumbled around you. The truth is, they feared what would happen if you lived fully as yourself. They knew that if you walked unapologetically in your purpose, you would inspire others to break free too. And that freedom would threaten the fragile control they held over their world. That's why they've been after you since the very beginning, because they saw you as a spark that could ignite a wildfire. Chosen one, look at the pattern of your life. The setbacks weren't random. The betrayals weren't accidents. The doors slammed in your face weren't coincidences. Each one was an attempt to dim the light they saw shining within you. But what they didn't realize is that every attempt only made you stronger. Every rejection taught you resilience. Every loss deepened your wisdom. Every betrayal sharpened your discernment. You weren't destroyed. You were refined. And that refinement is exactly what makes you dangerous now, because you've learned how to rise no matter how many times you fall. There's a reason you feel resistance everywhere you go. It's not because you're doing something wrong, it's because you're carrying something right. Darkness resists light. Lies resist truth. Control resists freedom. And chosen one, you embody all three of those things: light, truth, and freedom. That's why some people can't stand you without ever truly knowing you. It's not your personality they despise. It's the reflection of their own chains in your presence. When you walk in, they're forced to face what they've been hiding from. When you speak, their lies tremble. When you rise, their excuses collapse. And chosen one, here's the part that might surprise you. Some of the people who targeted you didn't even understand why they did it. They were moved by something deeper, an unease in their spirit, a recognition that you carried what they lacked. Instead of admiring it, they tried to suppress it. Instead of learning from you, they tried to silence you. Instead of joining you, they tried to stop you. And now, as your light continues to rise, they're realizing that nothing they did worked. You're still here, still strong, still dangerous to everything built on falsehood. Chosen one, this is your reminder that you don't need to apologize for existing. You don't need to tone yourself down to make others comfortable. You don't need to shrink so others won't feel small beside you. You were meant to shine at full brightness, because your light isn't just for you. It's for everyone who has been living in shadows, waiting for proof that freedom is possible. When they see you survive what was meant to destroy you, they find courage to survive too. When they see you rise against impossible odds, they believe they can rise as well. Your life is more than survival. It's a message. And that, chosen one, is why you've been targeted since birth. They saw what you would become before you even knew it yourself. They tried to stop you before you grew strong enough to realize how unstoppable you are. But their efforts failed, because nothing can erase what has been written. You are the most dangerous existence, not because you fight with fists or weapons, but because you fight with truth, light, and freedom. And those things can never be defeated. Chosen one, the deeper you step into your true identity, the more obvious it becomes why life has been a battlefield since the very beginning. You were not born into ease because your existence was never meant to be ordinary. You are the most dangerous existence, not because of violence or aggression, but because you hold the kind of unshakable truth that cannot be manipulated, bought, or silenced. Since birth, those who live in fear of freedom recognized that you were carrying a light strong enough to unravel their systems of control. That is why resistance has stalked your steps, why jealousy followed you even in your innocence, and why doors were slammed before you had the chance to knock. Chosen one, think carefully about the seasons of your life. Notice how often opposition appeared right at the moment you were about to rise. Each time you gathered momentum, something came to try and break it. Each time you found clarity, someone arrived to sow confusion. Each time you began to believe in yourself, voices rose up to pull you down. These patterns were not random. They were proof. Proof that your existence carries weight. Proof that what you are building threatens what others cling to. Proof that you've been marked since birth. They saw you as a danger not because of what you had done, but because of what you might become. And that potential terrified them. But chosen one, what they never accounted for was your resilience. Every attack that should have ended you only forged you into something stronger. Every betrayal that was supposed to silence you only taught you discernment. Every rejection that was designed to break your spirit only rooted you deeper in purpose. You are not fragile. You are refined. And now, that refinement makes you unstoppable. The very experiences that were meant to crush you have become the foundation of your strength. That's what makes you dangerous now. You've learned how to transform pain into power, loss into wisdom, and setbacks into fuel. Chosen one, understand this. People have always feared what they can't control. When you refuse to bend to their manipulation, you expose their weakness. When you chose freedom over approval, you highlighted their chains. When you carried peace in the midst of chaos, you reminded them of the emptiness inside them. That is why they've been after you since birth, because your presence alone is a mirror. Without saying a word, you reflect truth back at them, and truth is the most dangerous force to those who live in lies. Look at how the pattern continues today. Some people still can't explain why they dislike you. They'll say you're different, hard to deal with, or too much. But chosen one, those aren't your flaws. They're their confessions. They are admitting that your strength disrupts their weakness. Your clarity shakes their confusion. Your confidence challenges their insecurity. They feel exposed, so they try to turn the story against you. But deep down, they know the truth. They always have. You weren't the problem. You were the evidence. And evidence cannot be erased. And here's the shift you must embrace. You no longer need to carry the weight of proving yourself. The time for defense is over. Your life is the defense. Your survival is the proof. Your rise is the answer. You've already shown that no matter how many times you were attacked, you could not be erased. If you were meant to be stopped, you would have been stopped long ago. But you are still here, and that fact alone is enough to silence every lie ever spoken against you. Chosen one, this is the season where you must move without apology. Your light is not a mistake. Your calling is not an accident. Your resilience is not random. All of it has been woven together to remind you, and everyone watching, that destiny is stronger than opposition. And because of that, you are the most dangerous existence in their eyes. Not because you seek to harm, but because you cannot be controlled. Not because you chase destruction, but because you carry creation. Not because you walk in fear, but because you embody freedom. And freedom will always dismantle chains. Chosen one, we've reached the final revelation, and it's one you've probably felt in your spirit all along. Your life has never been ordinary, and your existence has never been neutral. From the very moment you arrived, there was a shift. The atmosphere changed. People reacted in ways that even you couldn't understand as a child. Some were drawn to you with a sense of awe, while others recoiled with unexplainable resistance. Why? Because you were born carrying something that could not be controlled. You are the most dangerous existence, and that truth has been echoing since birth. This is why your path has been filled with storms. It's why you've been misunderstood, misrepresented, and mistreated. It's why people saw you as a threat even before you had the chance to prove who you were. You've been targeted not for your weakness, but for your strength. And the irony is this: the very things they tried to use against you became the very things that prepared you. The betrayals gave you wisdom. The loneliness taught you resilience. The closed doors pushed you into spaces where you were meant to shine. Everything that was meant to break you only built you. And now, your very survival is proof that you were chosen all along. Chosen one, realize this. They feared you not because of what you did, but because of what you represent. You embody freedom in a world addicted to control. You carry truth in a culture built on lies. You shine light in spaces where people depend on shadows. And for that reason, you've been marked since birth. You were the child who asked too many questions, the one who didn't simply accept what was given, the one who felt things deeper and saw things clearer than those around you. That difference was not a curse. It was a calling. And now, as you step fully into your purpose, the world can no longer deny it. Look at the shift happening now. People who once doubted you are being forced to acknowledge your strength. People who once tried to bury your name now hear it spoken in rooms they can't enter. People who once mocked you are now silent, their voices drowned out by the undeniable evidence of your rise. And behind closed doors, they wrestle with the truth. You are still here, still thriving, still unbroken. If you were meant to be stopped, you would have been stopped long ago, but you weren't. And that's why you're so dangerous. Because no matter what they threw at you, you refuse to bow. Chosen one, take this final truth with you. You no longer need to explain yourself. You no longer need to justify your existence. You no longer need to waste energy proving your worth. The proof is in your survival. The proof is in your resilience. The proof is in your glow. You've already shown the world that nothing can erase what is divine within you. And the very fact that you've endured is the loudest declaration of all, that destiny always wins, and you are living proof of it. So move forward boldly. Walk as one who knows they cannot be controlled. Speak as one whose voice carries weight. Live as one who understands that their very existence is a force against everything false. You were born dangerous, not to destroy but to awaken, not to harm but to heal, not to conform but to transform. This is your calling. This is your truth. And nothing, no enemy, no lie, no chain, will ever change that. Chosen one, this is why they've been after you since birth. Because you were never ordinary. Because you were always marked. Because you are the most dangerous existence to anything that depends on fear, lies, and control. And now the time has come to embrace it fully. Step into your light. Step into your power. Step into the destiny that has been waiting for you all along.